Doran, who has had some ups and downs, but it's mainly ups more recently.
Yeah.
And I have really enjoyed T1's draft reads. I think that has been one of the bigger improvements throughout this season, is them knowing what champions to take away. And getting rid of Atalia feels real nice. Champion is very, very strong. Setting Faker up for a potential first pick Azir, as the Vi and the Gwen both taken away. I think a last ban on the Azir would be a good idea. And so getting rid of another top laner, I think, looks like the best option here for T1, because then they get either the Kalista or the Azir that they've been able to win through many times.
No big surprises thus far in the draft. Pantheon,
Okay.
going to be valued above the Xin Zhao, which T1 are looking to B1 Xin Zhao, right? I know the champion got nerfed, but Owner has been our best in. Really, I think Owner's first bad series was against Gen G. Not the first time, but the second time. Like,
yeah.
They get got by Canyon. Is that really something that's shameful? No, it's Canyon. But he was definitely, before that, the one player that we didn't have any notes on for T1. That doesn't mean that I think they will stop prioritizing his Xin, as the Azir ban does come through. We talked about this earlier. Azir does still command a good amount of respect when it's specific players playing it. Faker's one of those. Is a B1 Victor. Now, there's many ways to interpret this. I'm not the biggest fan. I feel like the Victor is solid. We know that Faker really really likes it, but giving over Xin Zhao,
yeah, and
ending
also
up having to play into like a Xin Zhao Ahri or Xin Zhao Silas is not something I'm super excited about.
Another thing BNK can do is lock Xin Zhao Kalista. And
yes, and there's no Talia.
And there's
only
no
Poppy.
Yeah, there's no Talia, but then you also get to last pick your support in theory in that moment, right? So it forces T1 to pick away Renata and then get Nico.
Yep.
This is the only way that you can actually orchestrate that.
I'd say in that scenario, T1 are just going to straight up pick Nico.
Well, yeah, that's what they'd have to do.
Oh, so they pick Nico.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
it's like the one up.
I love that, because now, if they would want to go towards the Kalista, they find themselves in the same scenario, right? Where they can't really go with Renata, because Nico is such a good matchup. And Nico originally came up as a Renata counter. I do think we've just gotten to the point where she's just good. She's a good support. Particular players play her really well. Peter is always our go-to example. And Carrier is going to say, I don't care that it's a counter matchup. I will be playing this. And it's what? Like Varus is one we often see.
Draven. Just Draven at Diablo. Don't be scared.
I wouldn't mind that.
You got this. He's shaking in his chair.
Well, if you get a front line as well with Xin, you can go for a good old protect the Draven comp.
I'm into it. Oh, Ezreal is so not Draven. This is the most not Draven you can possibly be.
It is way safer, because you can just not opt into the early 2v2s. But it's
makes
me
very disappointed.
No, I know. I was expecting at least the Varus, but really I was hoping for the Draven. Got me excited for that, Atlas.
Yeah, me too.
A little disappointing.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to everyone who thought that we were going to get some Draven. We did not get Draven.
Can't always get what you want.
No. Good song, though.
Yep.
As okay. Let's see some bans come through. The Skarner is going to be a big sigh of relief breathed for all T1 fans.
Yeah, Owner on Skarner, I don't think it's really what you want to see. So we have Wukong still open. We've seen the rise of Trundle, which I'm okay with. I don't think Trundle is that amazing, but I do think that he has drafts where he can really pop off. I don't think either team should look to play him here, though, because with against Kalista, it's fine. Against Ezreal, obviously, doesn't do that much.
Yep.
So I hope that isn't something that they're thinking about. It does have a good matchup. The Xin Zhao, though, with the setup that is there thus far, if you do go for Wukong, your 2v2 mid-jungle does become a little spooky. Yeah, it's not that strong. It's just going to be the Sejuani taken away for Owner instead. Now, Sejuani Victor, not really a crazy 2v2, but again, it's mostly about what can Owner do for the team, right?
And you can also follow up with Sejuani Jax in the last two spots here for T1, and that would have looked pretty good as a rounding out of the composition. Galio going to be taken away. Galio Xin Zhao needs no introduction either. And so let's see what Diablo is going to be locking down. We're expecting a mid lane here, and then counter pick for top lane. Make sure Sobero is in the best position possible.
Because they're really, I think T1 wants them to pick Jace. Because I'm looking at that Sion ban, and that's a very clear sign that if you don't pick it, we are going to. The Annie to come, I kind of love that. It's just a very, very straightforward upfront burst composition, incredible amount of point and click.
The follow-up to a
Disaster.
Tibbers as well is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The Pop Blossom and everything like that really does work out. As Nocturne, so the last of the more offensive junglers that are at the top of the meta would be the option here. Yorick going to be the consideration first, though, as Doran going to be playing mainly for the side lane. And I think when you do see a wombo combo composition like this, Naviri's still up. What the heck? Okay, there you go. That's definitely an option here for Owner, as he has been so much better at more of the offensive junglers. They don't have a true tank now in any way.
I like the Nocturne
Nor will they
more.
have it here.
Because I'm just looking at the T1 comp, to me, it's a little all over the place, right? There are parts that want to team fight, there are parts that want to go for early skirmishes, there's some kite back. Now, you're playing Renata Victor into a short-range composition. That I think you're always going to be happy about. Is he going to play like Gangplank or something? I'm seeing this man smile.
He is giggling a lot.
Oh, do it.
Okay.
Do it. It's the Rita. Yes!
Yes, there it is. Not a pirate. Instead, he's gone for a Viking. And he's just going to be yelling bro. I love this. A champion that yells bro all the time after a bro victory earlier today.
By Sobero?
By a guy literally who played on bro for 2 years.
Makes too much sense.
Oh, it's too clean. That is how you instantly get fans. As soon as you just pop up into the LCK, you're like...
A little smile as well. He's like, oh,
yeah.
I'm about to do something.
Uh-huh.
And actually locking it in. I kind of love it. Will it actually be good?
I mean, the Ghoulie Wall is like exclusively good into Olaf. Because Olaf, when he presses Ragnarok, is like, haha, no CC, but you can get put in a cage.
You do go through it very quickly, though.
You do. That being said, I mean, that is a unique thing to Yorick that would be somewhat helpful into a guy that is running at him. But I'm looking forward to this. I think B&K, they have cooked at least somewhat.
I'm kind of wondering, though, because...
This is JD from StarCraft. B&K, so a bit of representation there. We do have Wolf here.
Yeah, that's
he might be able,
right?
Oh my God, it's Jadong.
Right,
oh my God! So it was written in the prompt as just JD. I've never heard of Jadong as being referred to as JD, and I haven't seen him in a B&K jersey before.
We got to tell the people. But
oh my God! So this is like the GOAT, one of the GOATs. He's not Flash, of course. Flash is a little bit too much the GOAT, but kind of similar to Faker. We'll go into that immediately after we get onto the Rift.
미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Onto the Rift for T1 versus B&K FearX.
First things first.
Yes.
Jadong.
So
I don't know enough about StarCraft 1 to really say to a certainty. I know he's one of the greatest Zergs of all time. Is he the greatest Zergs of all time?
I think so. I think
we have Wolf on the. I'm sure. Wolf
we have Wolf there. As far as StarCraft 1 is concerned, it was always Flash versus Jadong. Like that is just how it went. And it was Terran versus Zerg, and it was just those two. That was like the whole story, and it was amazing every single time.
I was also, although he didn't quite have the same level of performance, a big fan of him when he was on the EG StarCraft 2 team, because he came back and played a bunch of StarCraft 2 as well.
Yep.
And I just remember the signing, and I was like, oh my God, this guy is pure aura. And he was fine. It wasn't anything crazy.
Well, he has actually been playing in, I believe he was playing in the ASL for a really long, like StarCraft 1, by the way, guys, still exists. People play it all the time. It's casted by Tasteless and Artosis if you ever want to go and watch it. And it's still going. Flash is still playing, or at least was up until very recently. And so we have actually, some relatively recent tape of StarCraft 1. Thankfully, the graphics got updated, and so it doesn't feel like as much of a chore to watch.
I'm kind of wondering about the Olaf as well, because I know with Olaf ult you can, if I'm 99% you can run through a Zero wall. So I'm kind of wondering if it works for the Ghoulie wall as well. We're definitely going to find out in this game.
I don't think you can run through things.
Well, I'm pretty sure you can run through the Azir.
Oh.
With Ragnarok. Also,
no, because the Azir ult isn't terrain until it's stopped. I don't think.
No,
Or
but
is it?
I think you...
I think there's a weird coding.
Well, we're
situation
about
for that.
to find out, right? Because we're definitely going to see it. And it also would make way more sense for me, because I feel like otherwise your window of being effective into Yorick is so small.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
All right,
so
we're going to find out.
I'm looking forward to seeing whether it is actually the case, because I could be completely wrong. I'm just pretty sure you can trap the Viking in a cage, as you cannot trap him in a top lane.
Is he just...
He is just he's ghosting. He's ghosting. We're killing him right now. As he'll land the undertow and down goes Faker. There is nowhere he can go. He knew he couldn't flash. Vikla almost dies for it and has to sacrifice his flash, but that's first blood over to BNK.
Now that's the way to make an entrance, Atlas.
Doran's like, I'm in my band. I'm only the bass player, dude. Like, what am I going to do?
Just come in,
Oh,
pick Olaf.
we could have had a pentakill top lane as well. It would have been so cool. Because Olaf has a pentakill skin as well.
That's bro talent, right? He doesn't even play the bro skin, by the way.
Yeah, no, he needs to be playing Brolaf, actually. But he doesn't. Yep. Sobro just calling out the timings. Says we got him. Man, this guy's... He's got some vibes. He is helping out. As now we've got to dive towards the bottom side of the map. That bailout is not happening as Kellen will go down. It is a 1-for-1 sacrifice. As Owner will come on over and catch this wave. But Gumayushi, he's not going to be getting the experience for that one. As T1 kind of getting ran around in this early game. Of course, it's early days, right? And this is a composition that does have some scaling elements, largely in this mid lane.
Yeah, but it's
I mean, it's
like
still a
Guma.
Callista comp.
well, Guma. Well, yeah. So Callista to me is one of those interesting characters where I feel like her scaling really depends on what the opponent have. And I do think eventually you can reach a point where like Carrier's ult does enough. If he goes for the kills as well, you can counteract a lot. But if your Callista does start falling behind early, and Raptor, as he should in this matchup, is going to just try and maximize his early impact, right? Do as much as possible while the Nocturne doesn't have ult. And Nocturne's early power level, outside of specifically dueling, just isn't that impressive. As
Sobro just inside the ghoulie wall and just having a good time.
By the way, he hasn't spent his money yet.
Okay, he's still having a great time in this lane, as we can see.
Yeah, Olaf's his base stats are...
Not bad. Not bad. Does have a decent amount of being able to stay alive as well in the kit, although it's not really working against a bunch of ghouls. The Morning Mist may need to be used here, as, yep, that's just a solo kill for Doran. So
That's challengers, baby!
And Chronicler, I'd like to introduce you to this concept that we like to call a caster curse.
I know what you're talking about. I think that is peak debut challengers experience right there.
Well, as you did previously allude to, he was sitting on a bunch of money. And so he goes back and he buys himself a Phage, teleports towards that top side of the map. And Faker putting on some pressure here in the mid lane as well. As Vikla may just die as the Arcane Storm comes through. Faker is going to get killed by Tibbers because Tibbers gets real mad after Annie goes down. So a 1-for-1 trade in the mid lane. As I guess it actually works out for BNK because Vikla is going to have his flash back up earlier than Faker does.
Yeah, with the flash and the fact you trade 1-for-1, that's a trade up. Like playing into Annie in particular, Faker will be in serious trouble. Also opens up the possibility for this mid lane play, and Vikla died earlier. I think this Dragon is just going over to BNK, and BNK's early game actually looking great. Outside of, you know, Sobro getting solo killed.
I mean,
that part was...
When it comes to, like, Olaf play, I think getting solo killed here or there is kind of just how it works, yeah. It just, sometimes you remember that you don't have Ghost, and you just went for a bad trade. It's either all or nothing. Who is, like, so far in the LCK, who do you reckon is the most iconic Olaf player? Because for me, I always remember Peanut. It's Peanut for me, man. And not even for like good things either a lot of the time. Of course, Tarzan was the one that brought over the redemption tech.
I just love redemption Olaf. It's such a dumb thing.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
That was Kanavi, right? That came up with it?
I think Kanavi was the one that, yeah, and Tarzan then brought it to the LCK. That's what I heard, at least. So with these things, it's also like, it's so hard to actually track this, because you just hear that at some point. It's like, is that real info? Probably, maybe.
It would have been really cool if the maiden that you had from the Pentakill Yorick skin was like just very clearly Iron, or just an Iron Maiden that just hovered, so that it's a reference to Iron Maiden. I just feel like that'd be metal.
It would be cool.
She's not, though, as we can see here. Doran is now in a little bit of trouble, ladies and gentlemen. The reckless swing, there's the shot. This is exactly how Olaf wants to play the game, and that is killing you and dying.
That's peak right there.
I don't know if it's good for Sobero, but he is doing stuff that he wants to do. That's all right. True Shot Barrage is going to soften up these Void Grubs. Carry is going in. Pop Blossom's coming down as well, though. The Fate's Call needs to be invested. My God, those Tangle Barbs were so good. As now Vikla is going to try and take down Gumayushi, but he gets bailed out of that one. Owner down to 100 health, and Faker is looking to clean this one up. Kellen, not a whole lot he can do in this instance, and T1 win themselves the fight.
Straight up out-executed. Gets BNK there. T1 playing it just a little bit cleaner. Not quite sure what happened there. Fight looked a little disjointed for BNK. The call to go for the fight, I think, is understandable. But the fact that Guma does actually get the bailout is huge.
Oh, yeah. And Vikla finding himself a little bit out of position in that one as well. We're going to have a look at this replay first, though, as Sobero does that thing where he says, I'm going to run at you and hit you with axes and stuff, and then I'm dead.
If he had mana, he might have been able to live. With he didn't get to use his W. So just a little bit of health could have been a difference maker, as I think Owner got that one. So the setup to this fight is not too clean, but they're up on ultimate, right? They should win this. Then the ultimate comes through from Nico, but watch Guma here. Actually stays alive for long, and then Vikla goes for the kind of desperation play. And that is what ends up being his demise. He doesn't need to play that fast.
Yeah.
If he plays it slow, he just holds there. Guma was so low that you could actually realistically wait it, and Diablo had some. Diablo still was in a position to fight.
It was a bit of a rush of blood to the head situation here as Raptor, possible angle here, but Carrier turns up. Great handshake as Vikla going to be held in position. Gravity Field not going to really be doing too much.
Yeah,
but you can feel the pressure now that T1 are exerting. And they will be able to do this, right? Like, this 4-1 composition is so scary with the fact that you turn the lights off and kill someone in the side lane. Doran then goes completely nuts, takes all of your stuff, and they never have to worry about the Wombo combo because they're not really going to be trying to team fight you. As a possible fear here onto Raptor. Diablo is moving over, though, and Kellen's in position. Carrier finally gets here, and Owner is playing super far up. Some aggressive play out of the man, as the Crab going to move back towards T1.
They're about to be a member up. I don't know about this for BNK.
A little bit dicey here as the Maiden comes down. Doran gets involved a little bit early, though, as now the Paranoia comes in. They look to just get rid of this Xin Zhao as quickly as possible, and Win doesn't have time to become Lightning because he's dead. Kellen now doing his very best to survive, but he's going to get smoked down where he stands, and it's a double kill for Owner. Another one going over to Doran as he takes down Diablo. And it is going from bad to worse, as yes, Ragnarok doesn't get you out of the Ghoulie wall, as it turns out. And so Sobero is...
just gonna die?
Possibly just dead. Yeah, the Morning Mist is gonna be able to slow him down. And there is the kill onto the Olaf. And man, it was such a great start for BNK. Let's focus on that.
It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
Didn't last very long. We're 11 minutes in, Atlas. T1 has 11 kills.
Yeah.
So
kill a minute pace. You love to see it.
They are down a member here, and the TP actually is nice. The TP comes through before the ultimate, but really Raptor isn't in this fight, which is why the rest of the backline just gets completely obliterated. And then here Vikla and Sobero kind of not on the same page. This Victor pick is just paying so much dividends, because the reason why Vikla can't join Sobero, by the way, is because the Victor W is there. So he just has to walk slowly as any towards the Victor and the Renata, which isn't really going to do anything. Yeah. By the time Sobero gets there, the fight has already been lost. Now it's a 4K gold deficit. And I don't know if BNK just have the raw stats to get through T1 anymore.
And the problem is they have a composition that relies on raw stats. If
Well,
you
yeah,
don't
it's
manage to kill someone in the time that Annie and Nico can hold them in position, you just don't kill them.
It's a bit of a mid-diff. Because Annie, to me, is one of those picks into Victor where you're like, you have very specific windows where you can obviously bully him. But also, if you do fall behind, isn't that just the worst matchup imaginable? Because, like, you don't get to trade, you don't have range, and they've had either Carrier or Owner just continuously hovering around
I would
him.
say that Faker is in trouble, but he's not. True Shot Barrage is going to snag him, but there's the paranoia. Vikla may be in trouble, but that is...
Turn?
Yeah, the turn is going to come on through here. As Owner taking a lot of damage, Pop Blossom holds him in place. He does get a kill. Before that even happens, though, as the bailout not quite able to work here as the Ghoulie Wall also not quite happening. And there's Sobro, ladies and gentlemen. It's the double, and now Diablo trying to get amongst it. Faker throws down the gravity field, says no to the rest of this fight, but B&K are back on the board.
That was a 1 for 4! How did that happen?
I have absolutely no idea. We were just, like, signing the obituary.
Yep.
Oh, wait, that means once again we cast a cursed it. And we have to stop doing this. Sorry, T1 fans, this time around for having that conversation about the fact that T1 is so far ahead.
We set up this play, but T1 respond nicely. Faker does tank another. It's the re-engage here that really doesn't hit the mark. Owner goes in.
And Carrier's bailout timing was fantastic as well. So, like, that allowed Owner to stay alive, get the kill.
And then here, they don't get a reset. And Soboro is just running, and no one has damage to actually... Even Victor this early on isn't really going to do enough to the Olaf, right? And he's in the fight for a large part. Because, again, he had to kind of leave when Annie ulted him, and then they took the Ezreal ult as well. Will this change the outcome of the game? Most likely, no. But I do love that B&K just keep being B&K. Because guess what? They're going to take like 5 more of those skirmishes. And it doesn't matter if they work or not. Because look at that. Look at that goal graph.
Yeah, that is flattening, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what you want to see if you're a B&K fan. You don't want to see this, as Cerber does have a scary ghoulie guy hovering. But it is not going to be paranoia time here for Owner. As Raptor rotating over, that health bar is starting to look a little bit healthier as first items are completing. Owner has become a Hexblader, by the way. How do we feel about that?
I think Hexblade is good.
Oh, you a Hexblader as well?
Well, like the extra movement speed and attack on your ult is good, no? If you're Nocturne?
I mean, yeah, it does make some sense, but, you know, Stride Break is a pretty powerful item if you can get in amongst it, as Vikler is now dead, ladies and gentlemen. Doran is going to just allow his Maiden to kill him. Look at this! It's an NPC battle in the bottom lane, but the NPC is now alone.
Okay, I think that's mean to say about Vikla. Okay, he hasn't been playing super well, but let's be...
Tibbers and the Maiden, I'll have you know, Chronicler.
I know, I just wanted to see her respond.
That was a bit toxic.
It's a bit nefarious.
It was a bit nefarious. You have definitely gotten a little bit more edgy, Chronicler, in your time here.
For my standards, yes. As
we're going to have a look at it again. Look, and Doran's actually cheating because he has more NPCs. And he can make them...
Yeah, it's not quite fair. And then Annie, obviously, once you get caught in the Ghoulie Wall, you just kind of die, and there's not really anything you can do. Nicely done by Doran. Good trap. I say trap. He just stood in the brush.
Yeah.
And then...
I mean, it was still a trap. It just wasn't a very interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty bare bones. Yeah, Vikla struggle unfortunately continues. This Olaf is still up gold, technically.
Yep.
So that's nice.
I mean, Vikler is only down 600 gold, and he's down 40 CS, right? So...
Could be worse.
It could be way worse.
Could be worse.
Could. So not the end of the world or anything like that. It's just getting close.
Oh, we're fighting on the power spike.
Okay.
Soboro has a second item.
Rift Herald might be the moment here. They can then use that to try and make this map a little bit smaller for T1.
Their team fight is still really strong. I think T1's too late.
Yeah, Kellen standing in a pretty good position here as the handshake does come through, but that is just a dead Rift Herald as the teleport brought Soboro in. He's looking for a flank angle here. He gets into the brush. That does give T1 all the information here as the Gully wall goes down to make things annoying. Keria continuing to find these handshakes.
Got a poke. They're playing for...
Oh, it's really smart from T1. They're just trying to create some space here as they go in onto Owner, and the Pop Blossom finds everyone! The bailout comes down yet again. They do kill the Nico, though, and so Owner stays alive for a long time into the backline. Goes the Olaf, but he's unable to get on top of Gumayushi. He uses those summoner spells so beautifully. And I was about to say T1 just had the positional advantage around that mid lane, and they utilize it so beautifully to just say no to BNK. They're going to look for even an inner turret off the back end of this as well. Oh man, I feel like they took so much from BNK just going for a desperation engage.
Killing Owner is nice, but that's not really what the goal of the composition is for BNK. You need to take down the 2 consistent damage dealers, and I think they tunnel on Owner, and this initial setup, this is great. Again, imagine if they play this a little slower, because by the time Sobro actually gets on top of Guma, the rest of the team is already taken so low, no one can follow up the damage on Guma, and he just gets to hop out.
Yep.
And then the chase...
Still had his flash, so it wasn't under enough threat at the beginning of the fight.
Yep. And then Vikla, Diablo obviously not able to really join. Doran showing the power of team fight Yorick.
Team fight, like, hull breaker Yorick. You love to see it. Like you can take the Doran out of the build, but you can't take him off the Rift. He will still just go for the team fights. And he's finding it once again. Keria up here alongside him. Let's see whether Doran and the Maiden can survive as the bailout does come in. The health bar is not going to quite be low enough, though, as Diablo gets close, to be perfectly honest. Owner on the cross map is going to be taking the second dragon for T1, as the Rift Herald does deal with this top outer turret. Still actually a bit of a help here for BNK. Outside of the fact that they lose the dragon, they may be able to get another charge. As you can see here, they do manage to collect it, so half health on the inner turret. Top lane, still it feels like everything's kind of a trade down at this point in time, as they're 3.5k gold behind.
Nice pick inside. I don't think they can realistically fight towards bot side of the map, so this is the best you're going to get. Kalen actually clips him, and that sets up more than enough damage. We do see the bailout value continuing to be found there, because Diablo does actually almost die. A couple of stray autos, and that would have been enough to take him down.
So you've got 2 items on everyone outside of Keria on T1. A couple of items have come through for, you know, a few of the players on BNK, namely Sobro and Raptor. But Vikla still pretty far behind. Diablo still looking for that 2-item spike. And T1 in a really good spot this stage of the game. True Shot Barrage will land onto Gumayushi, but he is still very happy.
I know, so he does Roto Aegis, but that's still a level and a half.
I'm going to go with a golly on that one. I'm going to give it a golly.
Oh, golly, oh, geez.
Oh, darn. Yeah, it's a bit of that. It's just not exactly Vikla's time at this point. And the Annie, the comeback mechanics, not that many of them.
Oh yeah, flash ult. That's a classic.
I mean, I guess you're basically support Annie.
All you need.
So you need Kellen to be fed or something like that. As he is going to find the flash stun onto Faker. Arcane Storm comes down. He does flash away and puts everyone into the gravity field and says, nah.
That's a good trade.
Yeah,
take that.
Get the flash. Oh, Sobro loses interest on camera.
Well, yeah, he's not that young. He's still a zoomer, you know? He's like, I don't have time for that. I'm not going to chase.
Well, he also probably saw the red dots heading towards his bottom inner turret, and he's going to head on over and grab that.
He also wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to actually catch him there.
His ghost is coming off now-ish.
Now.
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 Yeah. We knew that it was. We just really wanted it to speed up.
Because I was talking about it speeds it up. Because observation is important.
Yeah. It's just it was never going to be the nows that we said at the beginning.
It's very deep. It's never the nows you think.
It's always the last now. Okay, Sobro, speaking of which, is going to be standing in this brush. Keria taking a bit of damage, does have to heal to get that extra speed. The speed, in fact, going to allow him to get out of the tangle barbs. That's good news. As T1 just want to grab some crab. They will be able to do that. Okay, mid lane is facing off here in the brush.
No flash.
Raptor turns up. This time around, maybe there's an option, but the rest of T1, they get in position. The handshake's gorgeous. Faker just gonna walk his way out. BNK thinking that they got enough buttons to take down this Otacon. Let's see whether that is indeed the case as Vikla. He can go back, teleport in. BNK looking for the turn immediately though, as we can see, hostile takeover. Gonna find only Raptor as the goalie wall is gonna lock up Sobro. He's now looking to run his way out as the Maiden is chasing them all down. And T1, they do get them off the Otacon. Is this enough to get the objective for themselves?
I don't know about doing it themselves. They feel confident. Faker is back with full health. The zone control is decent.
It's a 6v6 now as well. Tibers and the Maiden getting amongst it, and BNK, they're just not going to go for it. They don't have the confidence, and the Otacon just going to go over to T1.
Was a little worried when I saw that TP, but Carrier ensures, together with Owner, that operation make sure Doran doesn't get instantly blown up is a success.
Yeah.
Actually gets out, and then with Faker TPing back in as well, able to set down the poke, and the zone control obviously for T1 is incredible, right? Between the ghouls and the lasers and the giant force field, it's hard to actually get through once you lose control of a position, unless you fully commit. It's much easier said than done. And BNK, who's in the Otacon now as well, it's not quite over. There is still no flash on Faker, which is big, but Kuma has his sums back up.
Yeah.
Makes the fight a lot harder to play out.
He's now just trying to get this mid-wave in order. As we can see, he will be successful in that one. Carrier just trying to get some control over this dragon area, which is going to be the battlefield that we're looking for as Diablo finding an angle. Gumi, oh, procking the W as well.
That might be second dragon for BNK here.
Yeah, especially considering they're going to be without a Kalista. That being said, he is actually taking the Wolves instead. Diablo trying to do it one more time as Faker. If at first or second you don't succeed, try again. And unfortunately, don't try again, because it never really works here, ladies and gentlemen. Owner, though, is going low. Carrier bails himself out, but it's not quite going to work as it's a 1-for-1 trade. Vikla, unfortunately, just doesn't have the health bar to survive in these fights. And Doran is just taking the base.
It's still kind of a window. Oh, they're not going to go for... I thought they were going to actually go for Dragon. There's no TPs. I think they could have. Instead, they're looking for the collapse onto Doran, who is going to trade his life for an inhib, which I think you're not too sad about. If you can turn it into Dragon.
Well, let's see what he can actually find here as he's going to flash. There's a blast cone.
Never mind.
Never mind. A-okay.
Really felt like they could have gotten him from more angles and probably killed him.
And that the Maiden even absorbed a flash. Sorry, a smite. I said flash, that would be silly. He absorbed a smite from Raptor. Crazy value. Here from the Yorick, who's just going to keep pushing here in the mid lane. The inhibitor just kind of went. And this is the problem, right? This is Hullbreaker Yorick. He does not want to be in your skirmishes or side lanes. And the more T1 gets away with these fights, the quicker they're just gonna win. You can see damage dealt by Doran absolutely gigantic. 4,000 above the closest, which is Faker. My goodness. 3 items done. Steric's Gauge completed as item number 3. And yeah, T1, I think there's, like, if it's not critical mass now, it's getting close. This has been a fun game, though. This has been a much more fun game than I was expecting.
I was expecting a blowout. That's the kind of the BNK special, though. I feel like they always go out in style. They do go out a lot because they're 5-9.
And it's not even necessarily in style, but it is on their own terms. That is definitely a fact. That's all right. Dragon going to be secured. That is Soul Point going over to T1. 1.5k the lead for Doran. 1.5 also the lead for Owner.
I also really like his choice for Phase Rush into Olaf specifically. It's not something we really talked about too much, but obviously not the normal rune you go. On Yorick, I've seen mostly Conquer. I want to say a Grasp or 2 as well, but not going to be the case here, and allows you to actually
I feel like you'd get a bit more sticky. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that as well, but I think it's also allows you to
run away.
See early on, right?
Yeah, the idea is have short trades against Olaf. Olaf, generally, if you stay around him, he kills you.
Did see that. Third item now done for Guma. There is the Terminus now finished for him. Death Stance as well for Sober, which I do think is quite good. Faker has not gone for a very damage-oriented build. Right, we're looking at Zhonya's third. So between the Mercs and then Roa and then Cosmic Drive, it's hard, really hard to take him down. And he will be doing a good job of kiting his, oh my god.
Oh,
the little ghoul that could. Come on.
Get him, get him, get
him.
Get in.
Hey!
There he is. He's like, I'm finished. I only wanted to kill your brother.
No!
Fortunately, you're going to get taken down by
He did get his revenge.
He did. The revenge of the Merc Wolf. All right, Vikla, let's do it. Doran doesn't get stunned, though. And he just wanders out of range. He places Sobero in a circle, and now he's just looking to kill him. There he goes. Vikla now in a bit of, not a bit of trouble. He's dead. Yeah, Doran is way too large. Now T1 should be able to take themselves a Baron because Doran just like 1v2 double kills.
He's going to end the game.
Yeah, all that.
He's going to... Raptor can steal.
Yeah, does it matter though is the question. The smite is not even required because the rend is what secures it. Down goes this Xin Zhao, and Kellen in this side lane will not be able to do anything to Olaf. Yeah, Diablo is going to get back to base, but I think a lot of him wishes he didn't. As, yeah, he's on the fountain, but the Maiden does not care about your fountain. And Doran doesn't care about your Nexus. He's going to kill that, and T1 going to win game 1.
Might be the most solo queue-esque Yorick performance that we've seen so far.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason we've seen Yorick picked so much, is because of this type of performance on the champion. We haven't seen too many of them. The like closest to it, I think, was still Morgan in his initial victory on the champion. But yeah, this Doran guy certainly having a day out here today. Is it the... How many POMs does Doran have so far?
Does he have any? It's definitely all owner, and then like 1 or 2 for Faker, and then like 1 carrier from the top of my head.
Yeah, Faker and carrier both have 2.
And owner obviously is the front runner.
Yep.
And then
yeah, owner's on 500 points. But yeah, that would be the first one for Doran if he does manage to pick it up.
Well, this game, if there was a POG.
Yeah.
It's an 11 out of 11, Atlas.
Well, we'll see what Doran is going to be playing in game number 2, whether it's his turn for a POM, because if this game is anything to go by, he is having a good day today. It's time for us, though, to head towards having a short break. We'll see whether B&K can get themselves back together and find a better performance in game number 2. Space right after this, and we'll see you back for game number 2.
바텀인가? 바텀이다.
이거 쳐볼래?
애니 바텀이다. 특히 안 좋아 바텀. 바텀 안 좋다. 바텀
미쳐 몇
바텀 좋은데? 바텀 좋다.
일단 노아드긴 해.
이래 이겼다.
핑크 따야 돼.
가만있어. 이거 나 뒤로 뚫게 이러. 뒤로 뚫게.
천천히 하면 돼.
게임 끝낼게 나. 4-3이야 4-3.
이거 그냥 안 치고 있어도 되긴 하거든? 탱만 쳐줄래?
3초까지만 유지.
3초까지 유지해봐.
2,500
탱좀 탱좀 칼리야 탱좀
칼리탱. 하나, 둘, 셋. 팀만 못 오게 해줘, 팀만 못 오게.
형나 같이 있을게
니코만 갈 수 있어 일단.
게임 끝났어. 여기. 이제 집. 게임 끝나긴 해. 이제 왔어요. 나이스.
뭐야?
요리 보자.
아 이건
한 번만.
테라만 제가.
볼탱. 아, 안 됐네.
That they will be the one to make it through, not necessarily, but it's still possible. Like, we can't keep going over this enough, especially with Bro's win and DK being stuck at 7 for now. Nongshim, DK, KT, these teams have some pretty tough matches still ahead of them.
Yeah.
And anything can happen for BNK. Looking at the remaining strength of schedule, can they beat KT? Sure, it's KT.
Yep.
Do they need to play better than that we saw them playing the first game? Yes, obviously. And then they face DNF, which is doable as well. And then all of a sudden, if somehow you're able to scrounge together even a game win here, and DK continue their free fall, can end up over them in the rankings. There is still a lot of volatility, particularly from like the range of 4 to like 8. You know, T1, even if they end up losing here, they're still pretty far ahead on 9, so I don't think they're too worried. Nongshim is at 8, but Nongshim also has some really tough matches ahead of them. I think they, out of those teams, have one of the hardest strengths of schedules still coming their way, including Bro, who after today are obviously a force to be reckoned with, as the Azir is going to get taken away from Faker. Understandably, the Talia ban was kind of a hint towards that.
Yeah, that one has to be locked away. BNK have completed their Gen G experience for, you know, these couple of round robins, though, so that is certainly good news for them, not having to worry about that one. This is, though, starting to become a bit of an issue, because now you've got the Rumble locked away for Doran. I would personally prefer not to see a Skarner,
yeah, but really,
but it's still going to get locked in.
It's just not been great. The Skarner, he has like wins 1 in 3 games. The priority remains high. With the Rumble, I kind of get it. They also want to deny the Skarner Azir, which even though DK didn't show that for some reason, that is a strong combo. And instead, if there is a setup that makes me believe, it would be Raptor Poppy in a possible win against Owner Skarner. Not because of Owner, but because of Skarner.
Oh, 100%. That being said, I love this top side for BNK.
Yep.
It has been very, very good.
What?
That's a Smolder. Wow. It's Pigeon versus Dragon.
Did get buffed, but I did not expect. Oh no, someone stop Chovy from watching this. You can't go back to this, Atlas. No! No!
I'm sorry, it's already happened, Chronicler. We just have to accept it.
Do we?
Well, yeah. I mean, there is now still a small chance that Gumayushi are going to be playing that towards the bottom side of the map, but I don't think they're going to be blind picking it just like that. As the Alistar going to be banned away here. There goes Jin as well, so obviously BNK know what's up.
Are aware of what they are playing into. Used to be one of the picks we saw often into the Azir when he was strong.
Yeah, I actually kind of like, I was going to say I don't. But Smolder and Rumble found a lot of success together when this was I never hated him as much as everyone else did. I actually feel like I was like, I didn't get it. I didn't get the amount of hate.
So there were certain iterations. I think that once we got to like MSI last year, or sorry, not MSI Worlds. I remember, oh my god.
Are we Senna smoldering? That feels like too much time in the kitchen.
Well, yeah, that's not a lot of pressure. But Guma can go, hopefully we'll go for a more damage-oriented build. I think Lucian is way safer.
Yeah, I feel like you just want to have some lane pressure, right?
Yeah.
Instead, Guma is going to lock this away. We saw Viper try his hand at it yesterday, and it was all right. That is going to be the Lucian considered as, oh man, star-crossed lovers. Man, it would have been so cool if it was still like support center and you could have like Zaya Rakan also on opposite sides of the rift at the same time.
Now what I want is Carrier to go lore accurate and lock fresh.
Oh yeah.
Carrier fresh for the throwback?
No, but isn't that lore accurate if you're like alongside Callista, because Callista has all that beef?
No,
it'd be Viego.
What? No, because
Viego Senna. That'd be the combo.
Because fresh imprisoned Senna.
Didn't he also imprison Callista or something?
I don't know, but he definitely imprisoned Senna from...
I thought it was Viego that had something to do with it as well. I need to return to that particular Shadow Isles lore.
Yeah, I don't remember the Shadow Isles lore, but it's okay. I'm
It's
sure we'll get a lot of time
it's
early
okay.
on.
It's okay. Folks can let us know. You can just write something down in Twitch chat. I'll make sure that I'm checking it out. It is going to be the Braum Lucian, which is one of my personal favorites, favorite Lucian lanes.
We did just pick Nautilus into Braum.
Yeah, we did.
That did happen.
Well, Ikeria has just back-to-back counterpicked himself, and he did not really care about it.
Yeah, I don't think he does. This is also farming Senna. If you are unsure, that is definitely something that it has to be explained, because this combo was what ended the last Gen G win streak. If you remember, when KT beat them, that did happen. It was Beryl that, together with Deft, picked farming Nautilus with support Senna.
Yeah.
Going to be the case here. This is a farming Senna with a non-farming Nautilus.
Yep, and that's what was buffed, was the just regular carry Senna more recently. So that's what we're likely to see this time around. Does mean that we've got so much like infinite scaling. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's someone's birthday. G-Sun, could you... Tom? It's Tom's birthday today? That means we've got another one because it's Kion's birthday today here as well. Oh my goodness. So many people born in May. It is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, congratulations all over the place. And you know what we've got for you for your birthday? We've got a game 2 between T1 and BNK FureX. Let's go.
곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 2. Time to see whether Carrier can win back-to-back games, counterpicking himself. And whether, like, if T1 makes it to 45 minutes, is it just done? Because you'll have Gumayushi shooting them from his fountain, and Faker with 1 billion execute damage.
I don't think they need to get to
미니언들이
that point.
생성되었습니다.
Even though, on paper, seeing Skarner, Senna, and Smolder makes you go, the simple flowchart. Is your name Gen G? Is the answer no? Then you lose. You know, it's very straightforward. This is basically as Gen G as it gets. And we'll see how Faker can play out the Smolder. One of the reasons why we saw this pick when it was at its strongest in mid lane was because it specifically was able to really bully lane and then also scale and be very safe. As I wonder, as the Atlas is doing some very necessary...
Yeah, I'm like not
research.
paying attention to
There we
it at all.
go. See Fresh.
I mean, yeah, he's a related champion. They're all
It's
Shadow
because-
Isles champions.
No, it's because Senna's soul got yoinked by Fresh. I'm very certain on this.
I'm sure there's, but I'm
You
just
made
trying
me-
to work out
you
whether
made me
she
second
has
guess myself.
she has a closer relationship with Viego. Because I remember there was like a big thing about that, and like
I think
Lucian
that was
mad and-
specifically Sentinel, like the Sentinel lore, which was like, wasn't that like an alternate universe?
Isn't that just like Callista's E?
No, Sentinel was like the whole. It was like a visual novel. It was like a whole thing.
Sentinel is also the name of her E.
No, it is, but that's not. That's not what we're talking about, Atlas.
Wait, it's a W.
I'm talking about
Is it a W or is Ren's E, right?
Renzi.
I'm
Yeah,
an
we're
idiot.
talking about a specific event that happened in League of Legends, the Sentinel event. This was a thing.
All right.
Don't aha me.
I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to read as quickly as I possibly can. But yes, the Sentinels of Light. I believe that might be what you were referring to. I think
Yeah.
you need the of light part.
Oh, don't you get?
Otherwise, it is just Senna's W. Sorry, it's just Callista's
I
W.
can see your face, Atlas. You can't use these tricks on me. There's a Faker farming grass stacks of Vikla here very early on, as one would expect. Also, Sobro going for Electrocute here. On
She was
the Jace.
definitely imprisoned in the Lantern by Thresh. That certainly happened. As we're seeing a little bit of a battle here, but I'm going to go back to reading the lore. Gumayushi could be in a little bit of trouble.
Gumayushi getting taken low. Carry out stacked up, but we'll be fine. I'm just gonna.
Where-
You know what? You just read.
Where is the Viego part of this?
You just.
I'm done. I reckon you're right. It is just Thresh. There's
So-
no Viego part.
Yeah. So you're thinking of Viego and his wife and the whole Gwen situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a separate. It's
Is it
Isolde.
separate completely?
Isolde is his wife.
Yeah, I thought that.
Which was
Lucian
explained in
was mad about it.
Ruination, which was another.
I remember Ruination. That one was cool.
Yeah.
But I just don't remember enough of it. Maybe that was taken up by other things in my memory banks. As we know,
As we know,
not
you
a lot
forget
of
a lot.
space. Exactly. All right, let's have a look at what Raptor can do here. As Owner is standing on top of a ward, he knows it. As Doran is going lower and lower, but Sobero is down to 50 health right now. And the jungle battle is going to continue. Faker could potentially be in a bit of trouble, but he does just wander his way out. Gumayusi and Keria instead just going to look for a lane swap, heading towards the top side here. And we are going to see that there is basically no difference
Big
when
win
it
for
comes to
the
CS.
Sobros, which is defense of Sobro, obviously. Doesn't get solo boloed. Actually, just walks it off this time around. As the lane swap comes through for T1, but not for BNK, which definitely is not the best for the Jace. I think Rumble feels a little bit more comfortable, although he doesn't have his ultimate available yet. I would love a dive from Raptor here towards Doran, but Owner is covering that bot lane right now. Those are some very aggressive plays being set up.
Yep,
Oh,
very
Owner,
early
he's out of the
flash
curve.
comes in. Yep, they're slamming each other into walls, and that is just the quickest of cooks here for Doran. Man, that's like he was making like a salmon steak. You know, you really just want a real high intensity sear.
That, let's talk methods. But first, very nicely done there by Owner, just completely ahead of the play, read them like a book. So Soboroy, I don't think he dies, but he's going to take a good amount of damage, unfortunately for him.
Yep.
And 90s, which you can just get all those off, definitely very annoying to deal with this. Doran picked up the kill. Are you like a reverse sear guy?
Yeah, I've recently got
He's
into
also
it.
getting reverse seared.
Yeah, this is the reverse sear as well, because this is Doran getting seared. He was greeting for a minion wave that he wasn't allowed to walk up to.
Doran, you have a job. It's to get POM, okay? I want to vote for you.
Hey,
It's like game number one.
He's 100% kill contribution, 100% death contribution.
We cannot give him credit for the first kill. That was always jungler, okay?
I don't know. I see a 1 in the left-hand column, Chronicler. Where do you think the 1 is?
Don't you be a scoreboard, Andy. Don't you dare.
Look, I went to the school of Daniel Orks Harrison, okay?
Outcome.
And outcome-based assessment is our pledge, you know? To stay unbiased. As Emperor's Divide going to come on through there, and oh my goodness! It's the combo, and it works out gloriously as BNK not going to be able to find too much here towards the top side, as Owner is going to just shove Vikler into the wall. He is going to get convinced to leave this area, but already has done a fair bit of work.
Oh, you mean Owner? Yeah, Owner does have to leave.
Yeah, sorry, it wasn't Vikler. Vikler didn't really mind about the whole situation.
No ult for Owner, so not ready to worried. We're 2v2ing here with Jace.
Yeah, not sure about this one, as the exhaust does come on through. Gumayusi trying to stand his ground as Sobero flashes away. Gumayusi gets into the mist, flashes after it, but he does get the heal. And still Gumayushi's going to be able to pick up the kill now, the Piercing Darkness. And look at the heals that come in the whole time from Gumayusi and Keria. And Guma, get back here. What are you doing? You could have killed him. Instead, the red dots.
Also, Diablo was like, oh, kills for me. Soboro, as a challenger player does, tries to flip. Flip doesn't work. Very unfortunate. The exhaust really paying off there for T1. Otherwise, pretty sure that that play would not have worked out. The advantage, though, for Soboro is that he is a top laner, which means he has TP. So this entire wave is going to get shoved into the turret. He's also going to get tempo on the next base as he's able to clear his wave very quickly. As
let's have a look at it. This is like exactly what you want to do if you're playing Azir and Poppy.
Oh, look, that's just on the edge.
It's so clean.
Really nicely
Love to
done.
see it.
And we take another look here. So the health bars are obviously not too bad for T1. That Q could have been the difference maker with how low this gets. Guma gets a 2-man Q, and then here, damage goes down onto carry at that exhaust, right? Like Soboro, especially in melee form, hard to get through. But just that little bit of extra damage could have been the difference between Carrier living and dying. And then here, I think he could have walked it off.
Yeah,
But
honestly,
instead-
like, it was the fact that Kellen got the heal and it felt so good, and now it feels absolutely horrible. As Raptor comes in, Gumayusi might be dead, as he's going to see what he can do, but the heroic charge going to be enough there. A supportal combat will complete the play. And out goes Vikla here as Doran says, no, not my lane. Sir, that is illegal.
So, I want to say that's still a trade up. I'm not sure. Depends on whether Soboro can catch the bot wave, but if he can...
My
he
issue is, so this game is a bit skewed, is it not?
Yes, we have very clear skewing going on.
Yeah, because T1 are doing that thing where they have a bajillion scaling and like a true tank, and like the front line is going to be ridiculous and they scale into infinity. And they now have the first dragon. And so like if it's even,
Okay,
B&K are
Yes.
really far behind.
but I want you to look me in the eye and tell me, do you really think T1 isn't still going to fight every single fight?
Oh yeah, but the fact that they're winning is the huge problem, because I don't think that they should. As Carrier's going to find the hook. There's the Dawning Shadow as the Impale comes through as well. Diablo will get taken out. They will be able to trade one back because the Keeper's Verdict works out very nicely. But still, Raptor's going to get delivered to this turret. And even though they don't have a massive amount of damage, they are still going to try to go for the kill, but they don't manage to take down Raptor.
1-for-1?
Yeah!
Yeah!
Honestly, like,
game
Raptors
is-
saved it. This is very silly.
This game is really fun, Atlas. I'm having a great time.
I'm still confused about where I got the whole like the Lucian center and Viego thing in my brain, because I swear that was in a cinematic at one point,
That was fresh.
and I guess it was Thresh the whole time. As all right, Vikla is just gonna airball the ultimate, and now the kitchen sink is going to land on him. Kitchen sink and Faker's mom, as he calls her down. Vikla at least is able to flash his way out of any danger.
Well, he lives. You know, that's really all that matters. Would have preferred if he hit the flash and then the ult, so that at least Faker would be threatened, but
If
maybe
he,
would
if he
have
actually
traded-
did go for the flash, though,
he would have
would've
died to
yeah.
Owner. Yeah, I guess. Thank you for small miracles, right? Is they are
Sometimes
already
happy
losing
accidents.
the 2v2.
Yeah.
Not great.
So that's another hook that's going to connect. Man, it's such a shame for B&K that Carrier got the counter pick Nautilus. As Vikla is going to try and get himself out of here. It's
Raptor?
going to work for the moment as Raptor comes on over. Doesn't really like his odds.
I do stand by the Raptor on Poppy. That's good. That's a B&K pick.
Yeah.
He's 3-1, has his Sundered Sky,
Did you like my joke
Running
about
around?
the Braum Nautilus thing?
the counter pick.
Yeah.
I'm still a little mad that it's working, so I kind of didn't address it.
Yeah. I'm a bit mad about it as well, which is why I joked about it. Carrier making it work twice in a row, though, is a very Carrier thing to do. He likes to play hard mode. And B&K are not liking what he's doing. So
It's
they're gonna see
even.
what they can do. Yeah, I mean,
Do they get outskilled? Yes. But we are talking like 25 minutes from now. You know, I don't know how many stacks Faker is on. That's kind of what about. Oh, no, we do. It's 109.
yeah, it's 109.
Which is pretty solid. Nothing too crazy, but
My issue is the fact that Gumayusi is like even on farm and has 3 kills. So the center is only going to be more difficult
yes.
to deal with.
But especially with this build, I don't think her mid game is that good. Like, I think Lucian on one item is still going to feel way better in these early fights.
That's a good point.
So we'll see whether that actually rings true, because this is going to be the Cleaver build again, which is fine. I like the Viper. I think Viper went for straight up IE. I don't know if it was Viper or it was someone else.
It was Viper.
No, Viper went also for the same build. I forgot who it was.
Oh, was there another one?
There was a third center.
Oh, golly. Was that earlier on? Well, we've got a bit of a fight breaking out here as Carrier taking a fair bit of damage. Over the wall goes the culling up.
Doran!
That equalizer placement. Oh, Doran, POM time, baby. It's POM time for Doran as he picks up the double. And Soboro, he's there towards the top side. He's looking to grab a couple of plates before they dissipate. Got under a minute for that, but Doran's making his way back up there again. Have you got the sheet? You reckon it's time to write it in?
Atlas is doing some serious campaigning here, everyone.
Oh, I'm ready. He hasn't got one yet all year. He's the new guy.
What do you mean he's the new guy?
What do you
At
mean?
T1, no, I
He's the
know
new
that.
guy.
Yeah, on T1,
Yeah.
not in the LCK.
No, of course
we
not.
take another look here. Great TP from Doran. Diablo just getting straight up cooked, and the fact that he gets knocked away really only speeds up his return to his own lane, which is kind of cute. Engaged there, working out again, and it's starting to feel like despite the best attempts from BNK, the team gap is just a little bit too big, and I'm sad because Count is playing the best Braum skin. He's just carrying around Kebab.
Yeah, that
By
is
the way,
true, actually.
You know, yesterday, we were on the space,
Yeah.
and I'd already eaten the food that was supplied to us because, you know, it was nice. I was
Okay.
hungry. It was okay. And then Jisun had just ordered kebab and only finished half of it, and she was like, "You want the rest?" I'm like, "Yes." I actually
Oh my
really
God!
do. It was kebab from.
Oh, that is so cool.
It was kebab from Itaewon. According to
Yeah.
Jisun, I asked first. My experience was that she was like, "Oh man, I can't finish
Don't worry,
a giant bowl of
I've
kebab."
eaten my fair share.
Oh,
of
I'm not
kebabs
feeling
from,
ashamed to
from
you,
Itaewon, don't you worry. But I know exactly what I missed out on, which makes me even more jealous. Adding that extra layer.
Well, at least it's not the ice cream conversation. That was a tumultuous day at LOL Bar.
Still don't, I don't remember that one. That one's left.
What do you mean? You were mad because Dion was like eating ice cream.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for the reminder.
That was a really memorable day for me.
All right.
Not for you.
No.
Oh. Oh. Well,
Days that make me sad, I remove from my brain.
it was a great bit.
It's continuing to deliver. As T1 setting up for the Rift Herald here, picking up rocks and stuff like that. And I'm still just a little bit upset at the fact that they're getting away with it. As there is a whole flash out of the way of the hook. That would have been an absolutely incredible hook angle, and I wouldn't have actually even blamed Diablo for not flashing, because he just kind of came out of nowhere. But gonna have those fast reactions. Gets himself out of dodge, but now won't have that available for this Herald fight.
An opportunity here for T1 to really solidify this game. As I thought, based on how the health bar looked, that Doran had ulted. He hasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, he might have just used...
You know what the worst part for Soboro is?
What's that?
So in his debut, he played against his first debut 3 years ago. He played against Zeus.
Yep. And now he's playing against Doran on like his best day.
Domestic Doran.
Yeah.
And domestic Doran was, you know, we didn't really see him for the first, I want to say like 4 months, but he's back.
Oh yeah.
Domestic Doran is here to stay.
Well, there's international Doran's turning up.
Okay. Even for me, this is a bit much. Okay. This is
that was such that was the most horrendous caster curse I've ever seen in my life.
I still don't. That was okay. But I've been singing his praises all game. This is the first time this has happened. Okay. I just want to say.
What's the first time that you said domestic Doran? That was the first time you said it.
Okay, but he didn't die. It's fine. You know,
he did just like throw his ultimate onto the floor for no reason.
No, he traded flash for flash. It's fine.
It's not about the result. It's about looking like a silly Billy, and he absolutely looked like a silly Billy because of what you just said. That's how a caster curse works. Because it's not about the results.
Curses aren't real.
Curses are 100% real. They're too real, and they're a plague. They're a plague on our LCK.
Because we yap so much.
Yeah, we say too many things. And
yeah, most of them aren't even game-related.
Some of us are not taking responsibility for it.
Is that what really
And that's the worst part. Yeah. Exactly. Got to take responsibility for your actions.
Well, I'm
going to continue caster cursing, but I will take responsibility for all of them.
Yeah, you always apologize. I am known to skirt responsibilities in general, so
yep,
makes sense to me.
You are a shirker of responsibility. It's actually not true, guys.
You know that Jason redid the alignment charts and took out my own vote, and I like shut up. It was even worse. I was like 1.2 and 1.5.
Oh no.
I know.
I'm glad that I'm still chaotic.
You're still chaotic neutral, at least.
Even afterwards.
You didn't slide into evil.
Yeah. Which was a real danger because I had to vote myself maximum to try and give myself the most odds. All All right.
Even without that, you were fine. Fortunately.
As it turns out,
Would have been so funny if you weren't, though.
I would have just called that particular one wrong.
And rigged.
Yep. That's what I would have done. I would have gone back to crusading for the
the
quiz. The power of the quiz. Oh dear. If
The
you
game
guys
is
do
still
want to,
even.
yes. If you guys do want to see our D&D alignments, by the way, it is up on Twitter.
Jason's Twitter.
Yep.
BNK are in a position to fight this game, or fight this dragon. It's 2 right now for T1. If they win this fight, I do think the game's kind of over
Yeah, it's a Mountain Soul.
because
as
of the
well.
aforementioned scaling issues.
Not to mention Mountain Soul's Ghana. I don't know. It feels pretty worrying.
Oh, it's just gonna give it up. Okay, well,
Huh.
you do have Poppy.
It's not Mountain Soul yet. Okay.
No, what are they? I guess they're waiting for 2 items on Diablo. I'm like looking for. Also, Sobor is really far behind, so I guess that was a consideration. But I'm not feeling too happy about it. I think you have to kind of fight for that.
It's also feats of strength that go over at the same time.
Yeah, I mean that's one. A soul point is such a big deal, though.
Oh golly. Jeepers. Good Yushi's damage.
Golly,
Yeah.
jeez.
Oh, gee willikers.
Who's
okay.
Willikers?
I have no idea. It's just a thing. I remember I heard it in a movie or something at some point in my life. Can't quite remember where. As Vikla looking for an angle, gets the flash this time. They find another heroic charge into the wall supplied by the Azir. They'll grab themselves a turret as well. BNK, some signs of life here as they move into a gold advantage.
I'm gonna lose the Otacon for this. It looks like
Hey,
OTP on
this
Vikla.
gold lead is extending though.
Yeah, that is true. I don't think that'll be enough as Kellen is watching it happen. Mid-lane turret might go down as well. They can go for this for sure.
Well, they don't. They've got another pack
the
of
wave's
minions.
here.
Yeah. So Otacon is going to be traded
Is that
for an
2?
inhibitor turret in the bottom lane,
So that's
and an inner turret, and an outer turret, and an
That's-
outer turret in mid lane
wasn't
as
it
well.
3 turrets? Wasn't Doran still Manifa?
Yeah. So it was the outer, inner, and inhibitor in bottom lane, and they almost get the outer in mid lane as well.
That's very worth.
Yeah, I would say so.
I still don't think the game state's that great, but that's a great trade for BNK.
Well, bless you, Faker.
Okay.
All right, so T1, they opt in for the objective that, you know, will not be respawning, right? That's going to be permanent stats they'll have in advantage. They can have that on top of the fact that they have Soul Point and the feats of strength. So just inherently, they have a fair bit of extra power. It's only 1,000 gold in the lead for BNK. But BNK have a whole lot more of an open map to work with now.
This is
Inhibitor turret down in the bottom lane just means that bottom side map control is going to be so much harder for T1.
This is gone. So T1, I also understand. Faker is approaching the break point for the stacks. Not quite there yet, but that's not the end of the world. T1 setting up a trap in case there's an overcommitment to BNK.
Yep.
Towards this mid lane turret. BNK not going to fall for it because Diablo is probably going to finish his second item. Be feeling good about that. There is the IE, so I do like that setup. It's going max damage, transformation should be imminent soon for Soboro.
We do also have the rapid fire cannon very close for Gumayushi. That'll be 3 items for the Senna, which is a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Doesn't have like the big boom boom damage items like the IE, which is such a huge spike, but still going to be a force to be reckoned with, and that paired with the fact that you just naturally get more and more stuff as the game goes on.
Bloodletters.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, the double scaling is really what we're going towards. But there's the RFT for Faker as well. Getting very close now towards his stack. Oh, by the way, because I'm definitely going to forget. And we've also established you are a forgetful man. Are we still skating tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Actually, I put on my big wheel
Oh,
frames.
yeah, you mentioned. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I am prepped and or ready.
Weather's supposed to be nice tomorrow as well.
Also,
we still have a little bit of time before the true Korean
Are you
summer
busy
sets
for
in.
dinner?
Well, I am now.
I was hoping to hang out with Doa. I think he's hanging around.
That sounds
'Cause
wonderful.
He's in Korea at the moment. Shout out to LCK play-by-play GOAT.
The man who yelled Faker, what was that?
He did.
That was him.
He looked at the cleanse and he looked at the moves. And then he asked what it was. and it was a really big moment. And both of the people that he was talking about are in this game.
I know.
Isn't that
There you go.
fantastic?
Don't let
Oh, we
anyone
can
tell you
tie
that
it
we're off
back.
topic.
Exactly.
It was all a ruse.
Uh-huh. A cunning ruse
A
at that.
cunning ruse, Atlas, as the possible fight. Oh. Oh, he's faking it out.
Vikla instead crashes Shelly into a wall. And so just doesn't care about any sort of Rift Herald power whatsoever. She's just going to wander aimlessly towards the turret and die. Because that's what happens if you just crash Shelly into a wall.
Oh, RFC done for Guma now as well.
All right, there's the flash impale. Empress Divide does absolutely nothing as Vikla is just going to get executed by this dragon. 234 stacks, and as it comes in, T1 says it's time to fight. The Equalizer got Diablo out of that battle entirely as the minion wave is getting thinned out. Dawning Shadow comes through. That's going to keep Doran alive. And T1, they can just keep regenning these health bars over and over again. The power of this composition, if you cannot burst them down, is absurd. And now they're going to look for a Mountain Soul. It's game over, guys.
There's no shot you're winning as Mountain Soul.
Yep.
One of the big win conditions that are still left for BNK are poke from Azir and Jace. That's gone. And Diablo all-inning.
Yep.
Also gone.
Yeah, big time gone. It's 244 stacks. It's 25 minutes, so of course, you know, normally we look at it at like 21 minutes. If you're starting to hit like towards the execute being unlocked and things like that, you're feeling okay. But immediately, as it all happens, they manage to get the pick off. The Emperor's Divide does absolutely nothing. And the Equalizer also does about nothing as well.
Yeah, root from Guma. Great follow-up from Owner.
Doran is so selfless. He's like thrown away like 3 Equalizers just so that he can help get his friends some POMs. Isn't it nice?
Okay, so...
Who else gets it though? I guess that's a question.
Carrier.
Is it Carrier? I guess he
That would be
won some counter
kind of like
matchups. His Renata
was also amazing, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
The narrative vote, it's going to be Doran. I also think that in this game you can give it to multiple people, and in game 1 it was definitely Doran, so I'm going
Oh, that slam! That was real sexy there from Ona. He's getting my POM. I don't have one, but he's getting it if he wants it. And it's going to be the lockdown of Sobero.
Owner hasn't gone on POM in like a series, Atlas.
I know!
So...
And he's the only one that can like realistically potentially catch up to Chovy. Although Chovy's going to, like, if he gets another 2 or something like that, or another 1, isn't it 1 and then he, like, no one can ever catch him? And I think now you can only equalize with Chovy. How far ahead is he?
Well,
he's
yeah, no,
400
it's
points
not,
ahead.
It's not happening.
It's done. Yeah, it's over.
Zeus can Zeus still equalize in this? Home have 4 left? No, they played against NG at the beginning of the week. Yeah, no, it's over.
Yep.
Wow, what a shocking turn of events.
It is quite incredible.
Who could have known? Chovy good.
Yeah, Chovy good, guys.
We're
Talking about him in this series, though, it's so, like it's a bit weird. We're not supposed to do that, Chronicler.
We're talking about POMs.
Yeah, but we're not supposed to. He's not playing.
Want to focus on the game, Atlas.
Yeah, that's what we're
a game
exactly.
Broadcast
T1
first.
BNK Baron. That's what we're looking towards now. Rocks are being thrown around. Faker is flying around. Well, walking at the moment, but he could fly if he wants to.
He's doing some flapping.
Indeed. Troll Ward will be cleared out. BNK,
what about a Hail Mary Baron into an ult from Raptor, into winning a fight, into a game 3?
into Elder? Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Well, you get Baron and then, you know, you just turn it into Elder. Just do that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That would be really good.
Atlas.
It would be really good for BNK if they did that.
Yeah, they do need to get through Mountain Shields on everyone. Which
Yeah.
They don't have any shred. That is a problem. They have no Cyrildas. They have no Cleaver.
I mean, Diablo has other cool items. And 3 of them.
No, that is true, but like how much armor? Like even Senna.
Well, Gumayushi
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, not going to take any damage.
Because he has Cleaver, right? It's not even like he went Grasp Senna, so his health isn't that crazy. It's like, what, like 2k?
Yeah.
Maybe? But...
Doesn't really take very much damage.
No...
They do have a Serpent's Fang. So if these shock blasts are going to land from Soburo, then they can at least get rid of some of these mountain shields. But as you can see here, Vikla is going to need a few extra autos to be able to get through even.
That's carry by the way. That's
yeah.
not farming Nautilus. That's a normal Nautilus.
Yeah, this one does have a locket though. Soburo going to dive in on top of Doran here. Let's see who wins this 1v1. As Equalizer goes down and Soburo is just dead, ladies and gentlemen. Back on POM duty here is Doran. He's like, I gave you guys a shot, but now I'm just going to pick up solo kills in side lanes. Look to take him down.
I think Soburo also very doing his best for top lane. You know, top lane sake on POM, they're not being too hot.
There we go.
It's really just Zeus.
Look at how unfair that is, by the way. Diablo, absolutely zero options as far as being able to respond to Gumushi at all at this point. The range advantage is just
I know the gold lead on paper is like 2.5K, but it's the stacks, it's Mountain Soul,
yep,
and it's also Otacon, we haven't even really mentioned, and a trade felt great when it was happening for BNK. Not so great right now.
No.
No.
The gold is unfortunately not a permanent advantage.
I feel like we're 3 more minutes of inactivity removed from doing silly voices, and I really hope it doesn't. It doesn't get to that, because we have Elder, right? Baron's live. T1, you're T1.
We haven't hit silly voices in quite some time, but I guess we haven't been in a Smolder meta for quite some time either. That's double Infinity Edges done for T1.
Just start an objective, T1. Come on.
I mean, start an objective, anyone. I think that BNK, they also know.
Hail Mary.
Yeah,
they've
got to do something weird if they want to win this game. Because
something wacky.
Oh, yeah.
Something wonderful.
Yeah.
I know where I'm going with this.
It does, yeah. Something has to be
done.
This
is what I'm talking about. The voices are starting, Atlas. There, you can start the objective. Come on.
Oh, you're talking about the voices in your head are coming back. Is that what you're saying?
Our head.
Ah.
Yes. Don't pretend you're any better than me.
No, I try to hide mine, though.
No, you don't.
Right. Fake is going to get flashed on. That could be the opportunity here, as they do get a nice double knock-up. But that's it. That's the initial salvo. They almost got through it. Yeah, Dragon Shield. Owner is actually taking real damage, though. But here is the equalizer. My God, the value is disgusting as his Flame Spitter comes down as well. Now it's Gumushi untouched. They manage to get the Impale off. Down goes the Skarner, but that is all they're going to get as Soburo. He's just looking to make his way out. It is a 1 for 4, and T1 will now march up this bottom lane. They can take themselves an Elder Drake if they'd like to. The Rift is their oyster.
T1 really playing it safe here, not wanting to run any risks, even though many of the members are dead, just ensuring their 2-0 victory. As they invest 2 ults, they get Faker's Flash. He's not even pretty damaged. As if there was more follow-up, they could have possibly killed him there, but realistically, with how tanky he is, I don't think it was going to happen. And then they're really far ahead. The Equalizer, the exhaust, so Diablo doesn't actually do any damage at all. The fact that Gumayushi is just completely untouched in this fight. Everything going the way of T1. And
this Rumble is a problem, man. I mean, I guess not a problem anymore because they're about to just walk down towards this Baron, kill that, then wander down the mid lane and win the game. But Doran does so much damage, dude. It is absolutely nutty. Faker here towards the top side of the map, just looking to cook these minions, get this wave in order. And the Baron, I don't think, is going to be addressed whatsoever here by BNK. Everything is so dark, and it is most certainly full of terrors in that jungle. Faker flapping after Vikla here as a Hex Flash opportunity
that was
area, but doesn't find the angle.
By the way,
that was, oh god,
one achieve.
Yep.
That's a scary sneeze, Atlas.
1 minute and 20 seconds of Elder Dragon. Well, actually, infinite time of Elder Dragon because Faker is there, so that's kind of permanent a little bit. It's a bit silly. Now that we think about it, of course, you do need to take the time to get there. The Smolder's inevitability is reminding us of how that Smolder meta felt as that inhibitor turret going to go down, and BNK just watching their options slip away if there were any left to begin with. Mum goes down, and so do the Nexus turrets. There's a hook. Kellen going to be flashing away here as the Equalizer has taken them to half health on its own. It's all, like they're almost about to die to just the equalizer and an Elder Dragon.
Turret still standing, trying to hold on. And T1, still 30 seconds, they can try and play as the hook.
Carrier, that was so weird, but I loved it. He manages to find a stun onto Diablo as well. The Impale connects onto 2. The bottom lane is melted in an instant as the Emperor's Divide does nothing. There goes the Nexus turret. That is the clean ace, and T1 will scale their way to a 33-minute victory here in Game 2. It's Doran, right?
Oh, I wanted to kind of vote for bot lane, but I went Doran.
There we go.
The propaganda did it. And also, as I highlighted, I think in Game 1, he was such a standout. Game 2, I think Guma was a great vote. His pick in mid lane, I think, ended up being really big for the game. Great follow-up from Ono, but it was
I think, the fact that
Guma that set it up.
Ono was playing Skana and had a good game as well.
Owner in Game 2, if there was a POG, I think he could have swept it. Carrier for the series as a whole would have made sense as well.
I think that
a lot of
still
choices.
could just win, but the cameraman, he thinks that it's Doran. I agree with him. Sobero, it's not, you know, the most fun time to be on the Rift, but I think that his Olaf looked great, you know, able to set up that first blood, and I don't think too many of us are judging him on the outcome of this series. B&K just realizing they need to change something up. I just think perhaps we're going to change it up in a different lane next time.
Yeah, that is one of the big stories of today, as the Senna cosplay from Guma. A really solid performance on the Senna that I highlighted again. Definitely one of those picks that Senna, almost more so than any other AD carry, except some things like Mila. Once you start winning on that champion early on, it just feels so oppressive because she has so much built-in safety. You just kite back, you heal, and then you can't escape.
You don't kill her, she just heals.
Yeah. And as does the rest of her team, right? Like, look at the amount of healing that Guma is able to do in these fights. And yeah, he died a couple of times early. The attention from B&K working out, but he was still picking up kills, still picking up a lot of gold. And
yeah, this was actually really cute. Raptor having to flash to get out of the way and the hook not quite hitting. But this is about the time where Guma became so much of a problem, there was just nothing B&K could do about it.
Raptor continues, I think, to showcase performance on an individual level that makes us excited about this guy. Like, especially given the tools that he has, with a continuing underperformance from Vikla and a top lane that was underperforming, has now been swapped out and, you know, trying to play with challenger player. Really just the bot lane, and against Guma Carrier, you can't really expect quite as much there. I think Raptor continues to look good. It just isn't enough against a team like T1, and really, it shouldn't be.
Yeah. I don't think that anyone really expected that B&K were going to look, you know, phenomenal into T1, but the fact that T1 are playing with this level of gusto again, the fact that it is trying out the weird strategies, pulling out the smolder again, I mean, we're ramping, aren't we?
It's a T1 ramp up into a Gen G dominance, into a playoffs wake up for Humble Life.
Yeah. And the question is, who is going to draw the short straw? You know, who is the one not going to MSI out of these top 3 teams? Because with T1 finding this level of form, like, I still feel like it's
I'm pretty confident about Gen G.
Gen G are looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good.
They did just choose.
I want to try to argue the 3-team region thing, though. You know?
Yeah, no. You can. I do think that you have to always include Gen G, but T1. Still, if we look at the beginning of the split to now, we were wondering how is T1 going to adjust to the fact that they no longer have Zaze, that they have Dora now. The adjustment, it took a couple of rounds, but I think we're there. I think that this type of playstyle is clearly working for the team. Some of the individual performances, I think, are a bit up and down, right? I think Faker still has been, even in this game, he was fine, but it felt like most of the stuff was happening around him as opposed to him being...
Gumishi just did almost triple the damage of Diablo in this game.
Yeah, the Lucian counterpick did not work.
It did not.
Maybe not so much of a counterpick. Could obviously also be matchup related. But Diablo and Kellen were quite strong in the T1 bot lane last time around.
Yep.
Not now.
And when it comes to wife versus husband, my money is almost always on the wife. Let's just say that. In my experience, they win all of the arguments. As Doran is going to get it, there is a god, ladies and gentlemen, and he is benevolent. Faker allowing Doran to have this one.
He earned it, okay? Game number 1 was amazing. Game number 2, I'm expecting...
He had those couple of equalizers that allowed us to justify giving him the vote.
That's actually, yeah, that's kind of how it worked, right? The early TP, I think, was also really good. But this is for his Euro performance. And we have had a lot of POMs that were a little bit recency biased, so why not a POM that's biased toward game number 1?
Precisely. Absolutely love to see it. Now we get to have a conversation with Doran as well, which is absolutely fantastic because we haven't been able to speak to him, you know, since he
Except
got
the owner interview where owner couldn't...
Oh, right. So we got to talk to Doran instead of owner, but now it's his own POM. Let's do it.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jisun for the POM interview translation, joined by Doran on the side of T1. Congratulations on the win. You got your revenge of the first round. How do you feel? Yeah, it was a big bummer that we lost to BNK Furex in the first round, but in the end, today we managed to get our revenge, so it feels amazing. So this is your second interview for this year's LCK, but first POM. How are you feeling? Our team has been performing pretty decently. You know, we are on a pretty good run, but this is my first POM of the season, so I hope I can pick up more in the future. Today, you were playing up against Soboro, who actually had his first LCK matchup against T1 3 years ago. His Olaf in Game 1 was pretty aggressive and pretty on point. How was it? Game 1, he hit level 3 and made a roam towards mid lane, which kind of freaked me out. But in the end, we were able to pick up the win of the game in that game, so I was very relieved. Well, your Yorick in that game had over 1,000 DPM. Were you expecting a POM after such a great performance in that game? I think I made a pretty impressive play at the end of the game, so I was like, maybe I might get a POM, and then I got lucky, you know, won game 2 as well, and then won the POM. 5 solo kills in that single game. Did you know that? I mean, I thought I did pick up a lot of solo kills, but I didn't know it was 5. Wow. Like, I have never experienced something like this before, so I think that was a great game for me. And then you got a couple more solo kills in game 2 as well, and with the solo kills today, now you are on the 2nd place in the solo kill leaderboard in the LCK. How do you feel? You know, you have to keep buffing the numbers, you know. I gotta keep it going. And then game 2, T1 had smaller mids and a bot composition, you know, very late game focused. So what's the read on the meta right now with the new patch? With the new patch coming in, we wanted to try out a lot of different picks. And today, with that direction, we wanted to draft around those concepts, and it worked out pretty well. And you played Rumble in game 2. Your equalizer was always doing a great job. So what would you say about your Rumble? What makes your Rumble so special? I mean, Rumble, everyone plays it pretty similarly. It's a staple champion for top laners, but maybe today my Rumble was a little bit good, you know, a little bit better than ordinary Rumbles. And today, Tom, T1's coach, is having his birthday. Any birthday wishes for him? Happy birthday. Thank you so much for working so hard for our comms and drafting. Keep up the good work, please. And with today's victory, T1 now secured a spot in the road to MSI. You know, T1 is always getting a lot of support from the fans, a lot of cute fan signs as well, and a message over to them. Yeah, road to MSI is just around the corner. I hope our team can keep the great momentum and form going, and I will look forward to the fan support. And this will be the end of the Doran interview from T1 and back to the space. Thank you.